Hey everybody, thanks for joining us here on this cold and snowy Tuesday morning. You probably didn't need me to tell you that it is cold and snowy outside. You probably also didn't need me to tell you that it's going to stay that way for the next little while. But what I'm going to tell you about is just how cold it will stay. We'll probably be looking at these sub-zero wind chills into tomorrow, and also when this finally comes to an end, and it will later on this week. So in the meantime, our big takeaways is still really cold outside, and we've got that non-stop snow continuing through at least your Thursday here, folks. So again, this snow is going to continue into your day tomorrow and into early Thursday as well, and then it dissipates later in the day on your Thursday, and then that mountain snow continues for us as well. But the big story, and this is the number I'm going to keep pointing to time and time again here, folks, this is what matters. This is what impacts you more than anything from what we're seeing right now. It is the wind chill. This is the combination of the air temperature with the wind speed that gives you a number in terms of what you are actually feeling as you step outside. And right now, Denver at a -7 wind chill. We are now at 18 straight hours. This was 17, I'm going to have to update this. We are now at 18 straight hours with a sub-zero consecutive wind chill here in Denver from 6 p.m. last night until, well, now 11 a.m. on this cold and snowy Tuesday morning. And it's hard to believe that 24 hours ago here in Denver, we were at, in fact, I'm going to pull up the chart here for you, but 24 hours ago here in Denver, we were at 55 degrees, and right now we have dropped those temperatures by 47 degrees over those last 24 hours. Just a stunning tumble of temperatures that seems to only happen here in our fine state. Now, in terms of the wind chill forecast, it's just not going to get better. And again, the reason I'm showing you this number more than anything is this is the number that really does matter. A little bit of good news is that the wind gradually does back on off a little bit today, so it won't feel quite as biting. But still, this is dangerous stuff here, folks. I don't need to tell you to limit your time outdoors when we're talking about temperatures like these. If you do have to be outside, make sure that everything is covered on up, multiple layers. Again, I suppose, fairly obvious things that we're talking about. Maybe something to also consider, and something I had to consider with my own pet this morning. Keep those pets inside. My own dog, I've got a corgi. She loves the cold and the snow. She had no interest in going outside this morning. So I don't know if you are all having those same issues, but I would imagine a lot of our furry friends not interested in spending time outdoors when we're talking about temperatures as dangerously cold as they are right now. All right, closer look in here at Colorado, what we're seeing. By the way, there is good news from this. If you don't like cold and snow, there is good news. If you like cold and snow, well, you're having I would imagine, a fun time right now. But if you don't like cold and snow, well, the good news is the mountain's getting needed snowfall, and a lot of it. Purgatory getting 14 inches of snow overnight. The wet mountains, the San Cristo's getting pounded with snow as well. Here in Denver, we're not exactly getting pounded with snowfall. We've generally seen about a dusting to about 2 to 3 inches of snow from our system so far. I know we're probably seeing a few peaks of sunshine and around the metro area as well. We did have a quick little band move its way on through that dropped, I'd say, about an inch or so of snow for many of us over the course of the last hour or two. That band has since dissipated, but the foothills getting some heavier snowfall. As we head through the course of today, temperatures not exactly going to spike. We're going to be probably getting up to near 10 degrees for a high temperature. This will, by the way, be our coldest high temperature, coldest high temperature on record for us here in Denver. So forecast high, about 9 degrees for us here in Denver today, and most of us stuck in the single digits around the metro area. As we head through the course of the day today, again, we're talking about basically status quo in terms of the cold and the snowfall. The thing that will change as we head through the evenings, the snow kind of picks on up in the mountains, and eventually some of that snow does try and make its way down here into the Front Range. So again, for the day part hours today till about, say, 4 or 5 o'clock, pretty much the same that we're looking at here in Denver, right? It's cold, it's snowy, and in the mountains, the southern mountains getting some decent snow, but that snow, as we head through tonight and into early tomorrow, picks on up for all the mountains. And here in Denver, again, we do have the chance for seeing a bit more snowfall later on this evening and into early tomorrow morning. So come 4, 5, 6 o'clock or so, I do think we'll start to see some bands of snow work their way into the Denver metro area, including downtown. So the evening commute tonight, I think, is going to be tricky. I do think we're going to have some snow falling. I do think we could see an inch or two of accumulation around the rush hour time frame. The little question mark I've got in my own mind here, just being fully transparent about it, is this is going to be one of those localized bands. So we get these kind of little narrow 10, 20 mile wide bands that will develop, and where exactly that sets on up could mean the difference between, say, a little bit of light snow like what we're seeing right now versus some perhaps significant accumulating snow, an inch or two or maybe even 3 inches from one of those bands. Then as we get into tomorrow, we're going to again be seeing mainly light snow that will continue for the day part hours. I'll kind of walk this through you a little bit more slowly, but I think, again, generally speaking, we're looking at some light snow, but again, notice some of these kind of tricky bands that work their way into the picture. Again, being just fully transparent about it here, folks, I do think it's a fairly low confidence forecast in terms of snowfall amounts because, again, these narrow bands, where exactly they set on up determines who ends up with, say, 3, 4, 5 inches versus, say, 1 or 2, right? Because for the most part, it's just going to be light snow, but then we'll have these periodic heavier bands work their way on through the picture. And then by tomorrow night, we'll get another last little burst of snowfall before this finally all comes to a close by Thursday morning. I think Thursday morning we probably wake up to some clouds, maybe some flurries, and then that all comes to a close by the time we get to midday or so on Thursday. We'll finally be done with all this cold and all this snowfall. Now, in terms of tomorrow, again, I think we're generally looking about the same as what we're seeing right now. It's still cold, maybe a tick warmer tomorrow than today, but again, for all intents and purposes, tomorrow's going to be about the same as today with light snow. I do think, once again, the evening hours, we could see a little burst of heavier snowfall tomorrow night, and that could drop maybe another inch or two of snowfall tomorrow night in around the metro area. For tomorrow, once again, those temperatures stuck in the teens, below zero wind chills for the most part. May, in a few instances, brief instances, get those wind chills above zero. All right, with that in mind, this does not actually look to be correct, so give me 1 second here, and I'm going to adjust this for you, and we will be talking about slightly more. There we go. That's what I was trying to show you here. I think you can see that, and I'll pop this back up for you. Apologize for that, but this is over the course of the next 2 days and what we can expect in terms of those snowfall totals on top of what we've already seen in the mountains. I really want you to focus on the San Juans and the Sangre de Cristos, where I do think we could be talking about 1 to 2 feet worth of snowfall up there, and then a widespread foot or so of snow for most of the mountains. So a pretty healthy amount of snowfall on its way for the mountains. Again, Denver area, and Colorado Springs, I would not pay attention to the 11 inches in Colorado Springs. Denver at 4.5 seems a little high to me right now based on what the most recent trends are showing us, but it could happen with one of those bands that I was talking about. But hopefully this kind of breaks it down a bit more clearly for you, right? So I think for us here in Denver, the story is going to be those localized bands. So that's why I put in there tricky in terms of the snowfall amounts. Again, just being fully transparent with you, I do think this is a trickier than usual forecast for snowfall because if we don't get any bands of snow, we're probably going to be looking at maybe an inch or 2 total from all this. But I do think we'll end up seeing some localized bands. We have 2 kind of reasons to think that we're going to have some of these localized bands. The jet stream and also the Denver cyclone, those are going to be in play. And that means that we will be talking about some localized bands that could put down an inch or 2 or maybe even 3, 4 inches in some spots. So I think today dusting to an inch or snow or an inch or so of snow through the day part hours. Tonight 1 to 4 inches, most of that between about 5 and 9 p.m. tonight. Then tomorrow night we could see another inch or 2, and that includes the day part hours tomorrow, another inch or 2 during the day part hours. They'll leave us with everything all measured up to about 3 to 6 inches from this snow event, backing those totals off just a little bit from what we were talking about earlier on. And the 7-day forecast, hey, the good news is once we get past tomorrow, things only go on up. Temperatures spike into the 50s by early next week. Until then, it's just going to be a gradual climb with those temperatures, once again, getting on up into the 40s and 50s as we head over the next little while. So hopefully it gives you a pretty good idea about what to expect as we head over the next few days. Again, a lot in play here as we head over the next little while, but hopefully it gives you a pretty good idea. I'm pulling that 7-day forecast back up for you here. I do think we'll be looking at the potential for some clearing skies by midday Thursday, and then a much warmer weekend ahead with a lot of melting, and that will continue into the early part of next week. Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Watch for a detailed look at your Colorado weather forecast. I'm Meteorologist Chris Bianchi, and have a great rest of your day.